Hello YouTube and welcome back to Be a Loser. In this video we're going to tackle some of the biggest myths about LCHF and show why they're incorrect. The first myth is that carbs are essential to the diet in order to be healthy. Many healthcare professionals believe that you must eat carbs in order to provide glucose to feed the brain. This line of thinking is outdated and quite unscientific. It's true that there are essential nutrients that your body cannot create that must be eaten daily. These include essential proteins and fatty acids. But there is no such thing as an essential carbohydrate. When you are in ketosis, the body enters a state of glucose sparing. This means that free fatty acids are used first to feed muscles, and this saves glucose for the brain. Additionally, your brain is fueled by the ketones produced from burning the fat tissue, and this reduces the amount of glucose necessary to feed the brain. And as we've seen in my fasting series, while the brain does need an amount of glucose each day to survive, it's not necessary to eat that glucose as carbs. The liver is capable of producing all the glucose that the brain needs using stored glycogen in a process known as gluconeogenesis. There's a standard resource in the dietetic profession, the Dietary Reference Intakes for Energy, and it states, the lower limit of dietary carbohydrate compatible with life apparently is 0, provided that adequate amounts of protein and fat are consumed. This means that carbs aren't essential to health, and in fact several cultures, including the Inuit of Alaska and the Maasai of Africa, are able to survive long periods of time without eating any carbs and without negative effects on health and well-being. This myth of needing carbs is only true if you eat a high-carb, low-fat diet, as is recommended by most doctors, and do not have the alternate energy benefits of the ketone bodies. Myth 2, vitamin deficiency, especially vitamin C. The truth is that you get plenty of vitamin C from the meats and green vegetables that are staples of any LCHF diet. Leafy greens especially have tons of vitamin C. Additionally, glucose competes with vitamin C for access to metabolic pathways in the body. Because there's less glucose in your system when on LCHF, you need less vitamin C as well. Also, because animals can create vitamin C internally, this means we can gain vitamin C by eating their meat. Other vitamins and minerals can be seen on the chart, and it's fairly obvious that there isn't much cause for concern. Myth 3, ketosis is dangerous. This is simply a lack of knowledge leading to confusion between ketosis and ketoacidosis. As we've discussed previously, ketoacidosis is dangerous, but quite difficult to actually achieve. Ketosis, as we've also discussed, is in fact a healthy state and the point of LCHF, specifically strict LCHF or ketogenic diets. Myth 4, high protein consumption can damage your kidneys. Once again, we have lack of knowledge. As we stated in previous videos, LCHF is not a high protein diet, it's a high fat diet. I think a lot of this confusion comes from the somewhat defunct Atkins diet, which was high protein. As we know, it's important to limit protein consumption on LCHF. Additionally, if you do happen to overeat protein, there are studies showing that it will not cause issues for healthy individuals with no history of kidney disease. Links to those in the description. Myth 5. Low-carb, high-protein diets result in osteoporosis. Well, back to the lack of knowledge in myth 4. We are not advocating high-protein diets, but instead high-fat. Even so, protein is essential for good bone health. A 2005 paper concluded that in addition to calcium, proteins are key to the prevention of osteoporosis. Additionally, it states that a deficiency in dietary protein causes marked deterioration in bone mass and strength. So in reality, higher protein intake equals stronger, denser bones. This is supported by links in the description. Suspected causes of bone loss are actually magnesium deficiency, high fructose consumption, gluten intolerance associated with consuming grains, and vegetable oil consumption, especially corn oil. LCHF eliminates almost all of these, and we've covered magnesium deficiency in the side effects video. Myth 6, high-fat diets will clog your arteries and give you heart disease. This is obviously one of the biggest myths out there, and you've probably heard it from most friends, family, doctors, and nutritionists that you know. This is due to the fat phobia that has been so strongly ingrained in all of us for decades. And that dreaded fat is saturated fat. The truth of the matter is that there has never been a scientific study, either published or unpublished, which links cholesterol and saturated fat to heart disease. Just let that sink in a moment. Yeah, in fact, a 2010 meta-analysis actually disproves the link between heart disease and saturated fat. A 2007 study showed that low-carb diets actually improve heart disease markers over other diets. A 2002 study showed that ketogenic diets actually have positive effects on blood tests for heart disease. And a 2011 Johns Hopkins study confirmed that higher fat, lower carb diets are not detrimental to vascular health and resulted in faster weight loss. In this study, the low carb group lost more weight over a shorter period than the high carb group and had no detrimental changes in vascular health. Now, there are, however, many studies showing that high carb diets, as well as elevated blood sugar and insulin, are associated with inflammatory heart disease. There's a test for hemoglobin A1C or HbA1c that is the average of your blood sugars for 3 months. Type 2 diabetics will be very familiar with this. In a 2004 study, HbA1c test results were compared against the risk of heart attack. The conclusion was that the higher a person's HbA1c level, the higher their risk of heart attack. Thus, LCHF will lower your HbA1c and your risk of heart attack. Obviously, all of these studies are linked in the description. So, we've gotten through 6 myths, and I think we've disproven them fairly efficiently. But we're only halfway through. We have 6 more to go in our next video in this series, so I hope you will join us. Until then, I encourage you to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, follow us on Facebook and check out our website, bealoser.today. As always, I thank you very much for watching, and until next time, keep being a loser.